Hey guys, Brent Abernathy. Welcome to the team training call today. I have got a special guest with me today, somebody I love and care about a whole lot. I've got Ronnie Hebert joining us from Southern Louisiana. And Ronnie's been with me in the insurance business now for about 3.5 years and have been through a lot of ups and downs. Just due to a lot of different factors. I mean, for instance, last year, hurricane came through and destroyed Ronnie's house. So he had to deal with a lot of stuff with that and kind of took some time away from the insurance business and really wanted to have him on today just to kind of talk a little bit about, I know he's made some changes in his business over the last few months and it's getting him better results in the field, but it's also getting him better results in life and what he wants to do with his life. He's got family and it's freeing up more of his time and, things like that. So that's a win-win for everybody when you're getting better results from a business standpoint, but you're also able to spend more time with your family and kids and things. So just want to dig into a little bit of that stuff. And, just by way of introduction also, just so everybody knows, I mean, Ronnie's got like the biggest heart of anybody I've been around in this business. He genuinely cares about helping people, genuinely cares about making a difference in people's lives, whether it's with insurance, whether it's with his faith, whatever it might be. Just a good, down-to-earth person that has a big heart. And, he's been through a lot, but he's come out on the other side every time. And that's kind of some of the stuff I wanted to talk about. So, Ronnie, just kind of give everybody a quick background of kind of what the last year or so has looked like and kind of how we've gotten to this point, now.
Yeah, Brent. Well, first of all, I just want to thank you, you and Donnie and Jay. If it wouldn't be for you guys, I tell you, I don't know where I'd be. And that's a big importance in this business is surrounding yourself by people that will help you. And that's what's awesome about FFL is there's always somebody there to help. And one thing I learned at the beginning of when I first started, I was not very, very good at reaching out. I guess that Cajunness in me, I want to do it myself and try to figure it out. And I learned in this business that it's a copycat business. So you just got to humble yourself. Like Sean Mike says, be humble and get hungry, and that's the truth. You just have to be humble and know that, they got people out there wanting to help you. So, yeah, I mean, this last few months, it's has its up and downs. I mean, we, as most of you guys know, we had Ida that came through here and I mean, completely wiped us out. I mean, I got a beautiful home now, but it wasn't like that a few months ago. We pretty much had to gut the whole house and we had all kind of damage. They kind of totaled my house out. We lost pretty much everything, clothes, everything. I think good thing I had brought my FFL shirts because I knew I was going to be a while before I get back. So I said, well, I'm going to work in the area where I'm at. So I did. I brought my work clothes and stuff like that. But anyways, it's been a little tough for me and my family. But the thing is, for me, and if you know me, I'm not gonna be super religious on you guys. I'll try not to do that, and I'm not a super religious guy. But the truth and the honest part of all this is that God really helped us through it all, and also put people in our path like you guys that, helped us through everything and was able to get back on our feet and get everything done. But for me, with this business, with everything that's been going on, to be where I'm at right now, that's what it all started. I realized that God kind of put in my heart that I was kind of working a lot. I ain't gonna lie to you, but I will tell you this: is in the early part of anybody that starts in this business, you do have to give it a lot. I mean, to get yourself established. But if you just keep on pushing and be consistent. Now, that's one thing I learned too in the last couple of months is being consistent in whatever you do. So I set myself a goal of what I want to do, pretty much, in a month span, and I stick to it and I stay consistent with that, and whatever those goals are. But yeah, I mean, it's been rough, but God's been there. Have a lot of friends and family that's helped us, but most of all, family is very important. And, I've always been a family man, but, I realized that going through the stuff that we went through, that I really wasn't putting a whole lot of focus on my family. I was mostly putting it on my business. And when I turned around and I started to focus a little bit more on my family too, everything changed. And I was able to work my schedule to where I have more time with my family and believe it or not, I have more income coming in now than I did before, because I was just pushing it. So you can ask Brent. I mean, Brent will tell you, I'm not the greatest salesperson at all. I'm not. But I tell you what I noticed that is because of everything I went through, I was able to change things in the home. And I guess we'll get to that in here in a minute. But I was able to change things in the home to be able to add more value. And I don't think I've had one chargeback in the last 3 months, which is amazing for me, because
right.
And that's really the key is building the value in the home.
So let's start with what you were doing before the hurricane and everything. And you said you were working all the time, and give people an example of kind of, what your typical, run days or weeks would look like. And at that point in time, you were protecting 15 to 20 families a month, somewhere in there. But yet you literally, you would be working pretty much every day. It was kind of all over the map, so to speak. So kind of give everybody an example of what it used to look like for you.
Okay.
Lead flow, schedule wise, all that. And then we'll compare it to what you're doing now.
Yeah. Well, before, of course, I was one of those agents that didn't want to, invest too much in leads, in certain type of leads. I'm not going to get into all of that, but in certain type of leads. So I stuck with like Instance and they're awesome. I use those every day. I mean, Instance and Lead Bank and all these Facebook leads, I use them every day. But basically before is, I'll be running those, and I was probably, every Monday, like your normal base, Mondays and Thursdays, I would dial from, basically 8:00 till I booked my, 15, 16, 17, sometimes 20 appointments in 2 days. That was consistently. Now I'm gonna tell you though, and for me, that was very important in my career to be able to do that. It was very, very important for me to do that because of the simple fact is it taught me to get used to, different rejections and different things like that. But not only that, it was very important for me to establish where I'm at today, with money that comes in my bank account every day that I had from, years past. But it's very important to be able to do that. Plus the learning prospect of the whole thing, and being consistent, learning to be consistent. So I basically, I ran pretty much 7 days a week. Sunday mornings I go to church, and then Sunday afternoons I was running appointments, just consistently just work, which is not, and I'm not going to tell you, I'm telling you, for the first 2 years, you in a way, you kind of have to have that mindset, because you got to realize this is a business. This is not a job. And so, and I want to get into that too in a little bit about that mindset, and that's something that changed for me too recently, is the thought of that it's more than just, it's not a job. It's a business. But like I said, I mean, I ran those. I ran, my lead flow was pretty consistent. I was buying mostly instant internet leads in the last year and a half. I was buying Facebook leads before. Just always had, the right amount of leads, which was, somewhere between 50, 60, sometimes 100 leads each dial day.
Right.
And dialing and just running and running and running. But knowing, when I look back now, it was, like I said earlier, it was very important to do that. And my family knew that too, but I did miss out on a lot of stuff.
Right.
But
well,
okay.
it set the foundation, right?
Yeah.
You went out there, you were working like crazy, which, like you said, you have to early on, right?
Yeah.
And then once you get good, once your skill set catches up, then you can really truly be a little bit more flexible with your schedule and pack out a few days and do some other things with family or whatever. But you got to get your skill set. You got to put in the time to get your skill set that good, right? So
Absolutely.
You were setting that foundation and to get the results that you're getting now. So, but I don't want to skip this part. Before we get to kind of what you're doing now, the changes you've made inside the home to build more value and all that, talk about what you just mentioned. Like you've realized, it seems like now you've realized this is a business. This is not a job, right? It's, hey, I'm creating a business. I own my own business, right?
Yeah.
I can do with it what I want to, but nobody else is going to do it for me type of deal, right? Nobody's going to tell me, hey, you got to go do this or whatever. So talk a little bit about what you mean by this is a business and not a job, and how that's impacted you lately.
Well, this is for me, and I've always been this way. I like I said, I don't want to get religious on you guys, but this is it's a business, but yet it's God opened the door for this business for me. He not only just opened the door, but he opened up FFL for me. He opened up me being partners with Brent and Donnie and Jay. He opened this door for me. And the way I look at it, and I can only say the way I look at this business, is I look at this business as it's not about going out there and making money. It's about going out there and helping families. It's a mission for me. It's a calling. It's a ministry, if might I say. My dad always said, my dad used to do this, and he always had a slogan, which Mark Meads uses a lot too, STP. My dad would always say STP, STP. And I said, well, Dad, what that means? He said, that means see the people, serve the people. And I really believe that if you have that attitude, that you're going out there to serve people and you're going out there to help families. And that's the one thing that's not only helped me in the home to build value, because when I go in a home, especially in the last couple of months, as I've really been concentrating on that and focusing and explaining to people, when I get to the end, because, I'm kind of, I wouldn't say selling myself, but, I tell them, I say, hey, look, I just want you to know, you're not only getting this policy, but you're getting me, and I tell them, I say, look, God put me in this business. He opened this door. And the reason why I'm telling you all this is that if something happens to you, I'm going to be the one there to help you, to help your family. I'll be the one there to make sure that everything's taken care of. That's my commitment to you. If you have any issues with your policy, you call me. I started doing that and just really connecting with people. I mean, even the idea of walking to a home and say, because I do a lot of final expense. So, it's elderly people. I'll go pick up their garbage for them. I'll go say, you want me to pick up your garbage? And sometimes they say no, I still go do it. I'll go, you need somebody to check your mail. I mean, whatever, I just build some value on that. And it's very important. And I'll just use an example of one lady. I had a lady that I went to her house recently, and she was like, it was a very hard appointment to book. I ain't gonna lie to you. It was a very difficult, but I said, look, just trust me. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to show you. I'm going to give you some options. And look, if it works out great, that's fine. And so anyways, I went in the home and went through the whole process and turned out I end up, selling her policy. And she told me after, she said, I want you to know, she said, I've had 5 different agents come in this house. And he said, the only reason why I didn't buy a policy for them because I felt like they were trying to sell me something. But you didn't do that. You didn't try to sell me anything. I felt like you were actually trying to help me. And that's the whole purpose. That is the golden, how you call it, the golden nugget, the golden ticket, is if you can get people to feel that way about you, that you're going in there to help them and not to try to sell them something. We always say sell the product. We used to say product. It's not a product. It's a family. You're going in there to help.
Well, what you're selling is you're selling yourself.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. They're not buying Americo. They're not buying Aetna. They're not buying AIG, right? They're buying Ronnie.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Yeah.
And I think, Ronnie, a lot of times people get caught up in with the price of this, or here's the deal with the product. None of that stuff. I mean, yeah, I got it. It matters. But if they don't like you, if they don't trust you, if they don't feel like they know you and you're there to help them, it's not going to go. You're not going to get good results. Plain and simple.
Right.
Now, looking back when things were a struggle, when you were working all the time, but not really having the results, was it more transactional for you at that point? Like, was it like your appointments inside the home? Was it because you're a people person, and people are going to always love you. But what was the big difference? I mean, is it really just kind of at the end,
The difference was, I guess, I mean, look, I can book appointments all day long. I mean, that's one thing I've always been good at, is booking appointments. But I will tell you, I did have issues with actually the appointments sticking. Like, in other words, I had a lot of cancellations, no shows. I mean, a lot. I mean, I had a lot, and lately I have not. And I think it's a lot of what changing, on the phone also, and building, because that's your first. The phone, like they say, 85% is on the phone. And it's the truth, because I kind of try to start building some trust on the phone as much as I can. And that's helped me. But yeah, I mean, in the house, I mean, it from, I guess the difference is just laying that down. I mean, at the end, but even at the beginning, I mean, just saying, hey, look, I mean, and I learned this from, I can't remember his name, but one of the agents with FFL had made a comment one time when we went eat supper with him, and he made a comment that, and it stuck to him, and I use it every time, is if something happened to you yesterday, what does it look like for Mary today? If you passed away yesterday, what does that look like today? And I always say that. And if it's a final expense or if it's mortgage protection, whatever appointment I'm in, and I find that really lays some value. And, and then I tell them, say, hey, so what does that look like? I mean, is the finances there for your burial? Are the finances there to pay your mortgage off? I mean, like with young couples or any couple, I say, look, y'all guys work y'all behinds off to pay for this mortgage. This is an investment. So the question is where do you want this investment to go? You want it to go to your family, or do you want it to go to the mortgage company? Because somebody's going to get the investment, the money you put into this.
So see, things like that, dude, like hearing you talk about this is an investment, right? You're selling the life insurance. Like, they're not seeing, a lot of times when we go in and we're talking about, the product and selling the life insurance, they're viewing it in their mind as a cost. Here's an additional cost here, right? Mm-hmm. But the way you're talking about it is you guys are working your tails off to pay this mortgage or do this or do that. Do you want it to go back to the bank? Now they're seeing their monthly payment for insurance as protecting their investment as opposed to a monthly cost. Right? Exactly. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And I mean, that type of stuff is big, and you're letting them in, you're you're obviously building the trust, but by the way you're asking the questions, and you're building that value. What did you actually, before we skip over it, what did you actually change? You say you're trying to build a little bit more trust on the phone, to make sure more people are there. Like, any little tips on, or specific examples?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about when you get into the end of the call, and it's like I said, it's all about when you get to the end of the call, and it's like, you've already kind of gotten to the point where, okay, so we got the appointment set, and I kind of added a few things of just confirming, and it's all stuff that we know that we taught that we just don't do, to be honest with you. Confirming the address, and just I kind of I got this little thing. I say, well, I'll be pulling up in this little red car, and I'll have a little tag with my identification. I'll be that fat Cajun boy with the beard knocking at your door. That's kind of a little thing I say, but just little things like that, just to get them, like what you're doing right there, getting them laughing a little bit, and kind of cut up with them a little bit, and just to make them feel as comfortable as I can. Sometimes it starts at the beginning of the call.
Hey, dude, but this is important, okay? And it's something I didn't fully understand for a long time in this business, but self-deprecation is something like we have a lot of agents that want to go into homes or on the phone or whatever, and they want to be like some professional, perfect professional and all this sort of stuff. It's like, no, make fun of yourself, self-deprecation. And, that's always the best way to get them laughing, but it puts a positive light on you, because now you're a real person, make light of yourself.
Absolutely.
And be okay with your, be okay with your inadequacies, I guess would be the best way to, it's stuff like that. I remember used to being in homes, and they'd say, let's sit over here. And then the chair might be kind of rickety or whatever. Well, instead of saying, I don't want to sit there, I'd be like, I don't know, I'm afraid my fat butt can't, will cause this thing to break. So, you know what I mean? But I'm making fun of myself. And, I think a lot of that, Ronnie, has to do with relaxing.
Yes.
And so many people are so uptight,
and that's the thing, that is the kicker. What you just said is, your first year or two. I mean, not everybody's Evan, but and Kiefer, but what I mean by that is that, my first couple of years, I was pretty confident, but I wasn't, you know what I mean? Like, but right now I'm confident, I know this is what I'm doing. I'm not going nowhere. And this is what I got to do. And I love it. I love what I do. So that to me, that's the biggest thing. You got to love it. If you fall in love with this business, and it's so easy to do. I was talking with someone yesterday, a friend of mine, I accidentally met at, went to eat at a little place, and they said, how was your morning going? I said, it's great, and I mean, I'm not going to say how much I made, but I said, I made, such and such amount of money this morning. And they said, wow. So, yeah. And I said, it's so easy, I said, but it's easy. And they said, well, it's easy because you just love people. It said, you have the right attitude. It's not easy for everyone, but it's easy for you because you just generally love people. And it's the truth,
You said the word attitude, right? And I've noticed it as I'm listening to you talk, and I'm thinking back to conversations me and you have had over the
2
years.
months ago, about 3 months ago.
Well, yeah. And look, it can have to do, you've had an attitude adjustment. You've had a mindset shift where it's like, maybe it's because of what you and your family went through. Maybe I don't know if that's what caused it or whatever, but like, I remember it might have to do with who you're surrounding yourself with. I see that a lot of times, right? But a lot of times you know, I was at the airport the other day, and this guy that he works, I think on the cleaning staff is what he was doing there at the airport, right? And I'm sitting there having a cup of coffee, and the little restaurant person, he's walking by, the little restaurant person that's working there says, "Hey man, how's it going?" And the guy says, "Oh, well, it's a beautiful day in paradise for somebody." And he keeps walking, right? And I listen to it. I'm like, what type of good vibes is he going to, like, he's going to attract nothing but negative people. He's going to attract nothing but negative things in his life, even just making a comment like that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And whereas if you change your mindset, you change your thought process to, no matter how you answer a question, like, it doesn't matter, but like, let's have some energy. Let's have some positivity, right? It's like, it doesn't matter what you're dealing with. It ain't that bad, you know?
Yeah.
And I hear that in your voice right now, because there used to be times where it was like, woe is me, or man, all these leads, they're no showing me, or whatever, which we've all been there, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like now you're in a space mentally and with your attitude that even when bad stuff does happen, that it doesn't impact you. You just keep right on moving. I mean, would that be fair to say? And you keep your positivity about you, which is translating into more results. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Can I say what I talked to you about the other day? So
you can say whatever you need to say.
I'll tell you what really changed me a lot in my attitude. And I'm not trying to be religious on you guys, but a couple of months, probably 3 months ago, is when things started really changing in my business. After the storm and stuff, I'd say around March or April, March. But anyways, there was a minister that came to our church, and he preached a message. He was from Mexico, and he preached a message. And I'm not going to talk about the whole message. I'm just going to talk about one thing he said, and it stuck with me. And that's what changed my whole life. And I basically, I say changed my life, but changed not just for me in business, but also in my life period, with my family and everyday life. And he used the illustration of, he bought a motorcycle when he was younger, and he was trying to learn how to ride the bike, and he went in this area in Mexico where it was really, really curvy, and so he was taking the bike, and it just learned. So he was going, and man, he come up to this curve, and it was really, really he was scary. He actually pulled over on the side because he's like, I don't know about this curve. He just kept on looking at that curve. So after a while, he said, I realized that after I learned that all you have to do when you get to a curve, instead of looking at the curve, you look at where you're going. And automatically, when you look at where you're going, your mind tells your body how to react. And then all of a sudden, you begin to go into that curve, and it's true. I ride bikes too, so I understand what he's saying. So basically, he turned around and said, in life, we always looking at the curve. We're always looking at the dangers. In business, we're always looking at the lead costs. We're always looking at the no's, and we're always looking at the no shows and the chargebacks and looking at all that. But when you begin to focus on where you're going and start looking at where you're going, that will completely change. Stop looking at the negative, like we talked about earlier, and just focus on where you're going. And once you do that, once I started doing that, so now, I have a focus in business. My thing is, my focus in business is the income I'm coming in, I want to be able to bless other ministries. It's something that God put on my heart a long time ago. That's the reason why I got into this business, to be honest with you, is there are ministries that I want to help. And the only way I can do that is I got to focus on where I'm going, and the more I begin to do that, the more I'm able to bless these businesses. And the more I bless these businesses, the more I get blessed, in business, period. And that's kind of what kind of changed my mindset, my attitude. I mean, attitude completely. Even my wife, I mean, look, my wife told me the other day, she said, Ronnie, I don't know what you're doing, but you better keep on doing it. She said, because, the kids love you right now and everybody, you're not on the edge. And, and look, we went through a rough time. I'm not going to lie to you. We did, but yet I'm so thankful because, God was there the whole time. And he was, we were able to come out of that because of the right focus, if that makes sense.
It's a why. It's a why that's greater than you, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's important, and kind of want to wrap this up, and I don't want to mess up what you just said. Really, I don't, because I mean, that what you were just talking about is so huge and so massive. But it's I don't know, dude. It's a bigger why. I mean, I've seen it for years in this business. When somebody comes into this business and their only why is to make some money, they it can be a struggle, right? Yeah. But as soon as you make it about the agents you're helping, or as soon as you make it about the families you're helping, or as soon as you make it about, hey, I'm going and running 2 full days, out in the field. It's going to be long days, but it's because I want to be able to take care of my mom or my dad, or I want to be able to give back to ministries or a charity, whatever. Now it takes that weight off of you. Now it's not a stressful thing to go do. Now it's like, this is my means to the end. This is how I'm going to get to that result. Right. I've seen it so many times. You have to have, and throughout your time in the business, your why will change. It'll grow, right? And I'm not numb to the fact that, hey, early on it might just be about, hey, I got to pay my bills, right? I got all that, but it's like when you have that mission, that other mission, whatever it might be for you, and it's different for everybody. And a lot of times it does involve giving back. Whether it's time, whether it's energy, whether it's money. When you have that passion and that desire to give back to other people in one way or another, it's really weird how things typically come back around in the end, and you're just in a better frame of mind. You're not the negativity, it's like that doesn't get you anywhere, and you got anything else you want to add to men and women? I know we're a little bit over time, but
the only thing I want to say is, just guys, just keep on, stay consistent. That's a big thing, and just don't give up. And if you guys need any help, I mean, I'm here. I don't care what team you're on. I don't care where you're at, whatever you watch it on YouTube or whatever, and you're on a different team. It doesn't matter to me. It really doesn't. I just want to help anybody I can, and just feel free to reach out to me anytime.
Well, dude, listen, a lot of times people think this business and sales and everything is about the nuts and bolts of what you say inside the home, or what you say on the phone, or the product that you're selling, or whatever. Mm-hmm. And, but it's also about your heart.
Yeah.
And when you do allow this business to get into your heart, and when you do allow yourself to make changes mentally and your attitude, you will be blessed in a number of different ways. And so, dude, I appreciate you, being the person you are, but also I appreciate you, blessing the team. You're always a blessing on the team and for the team. And you're a rock that I know the Gulf Coast group really appreciates. So appreciate you, dude. All right.
Yep. Appreciate you too,
and
man.
I love you.
Love you too.
All right, buddy. Appreciate it. Bye.